Okay, so we are recording. So welcome to this week's Power of Infinity, powerful power of infinite purple power, whatever we want to call it. Fun, magic, good times. I was just talking about how I was having not the most enjoyable week. I don't know. I felt a lot of angst, and I think part of it was going. I had gone back to being on campus, being on at work in the office, and the dynamic in the office was kind of irking at me and grating at me, and I was like starting to feel it wearing me down. Uh, and then that purple started popping back up, showing itself in my life, reminding me, and it reminded me to switch that mindset and change it. It's like, let's not focus on that negative. Let's focus on all these positives. I can sit here and be miserable, or I can sit here and be happy and choose to be happy.
Mm.
And I did. And today I woke up and I was just on cloud nine again, back in that bliss state and ready to take it on. And there was purple everywhere as I shared to the Facebook, the purple bark, the purple sodas in my face, purple people wearing purple clothes. And it's just it's been pretty fun. I've been playing with my coworker at work. And I just because he gets blown away, so I'll bring back little purple things I find on my walk or when I'm out and about, and come set it on his desk. And he's like, I don't get it. He's like, I never see purple around campus when I'm by myself, but every time I'm with you, it's like smacks us in the face.
Wow.
So I do like that. We are kind of just gonna go into the flow here. For anyone that's new, anybody that's watching, what we do here is based off of a book called The Power of Eight by Lynn McTaggart, where she dove into the power of focused group meditations and the power they did. And she did scientific and medical studies to back this up, to show that these actually work, and they've done some different things. And that's all fine and dandy to read about, and it sounds exciting. But then when it actually happens to you, and that's what sold me, is it actually happened. I had my nephew who had a tragic thing happen to him, got sprayed with poison, pesticides, wasn't able to find himself, the things, they weren't able to get him into the care. And I put this call out because we had just kind of started talking about and do this, and we put our first group together and did our first group meditation. And within less than an hour of us doing the meditation, they were able to get him into his original doctor or get him into a doctor. And the doctor said, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the toxins have been pushed and expelled out of his body. They just came out of his pores. And that right there sold me. I was like, I just witnessed this firsthand and it blew me away. And ever since I've invited this and this power of eight, which we are now switching to the power of infinity. Like I said, it's a little twist on the power of eight, but if you do switch the eight to the side, it is infinity. And then we also started incorporating this purple energy that I've discovered, which I didn't discover. It's the energy, it's chi, it's life force, it's prana, it's spirit, it's source, it's whatever you want to call it. It's this universal thread that connects us all. And since I've started harnessing and harvesting and really working with it, it has changed my life drastically for the better. And so I was like, I need to share this with anybody that will listen and anybody that knows me. Uh, I don't know if you guys are tired of it, but gosh, I am blowing it up with purple everywhere, and I'm trying to show it. It just showing the power and the people I'm sharing it with. They're starting to see purple in their lives. They're starting to see changes for the positive in their lives. They're starting to focus on changing their focus and being like, I'm not going to pay attention. I'm not going to feed these fears. I'm not going to feed the discord. I'm not going to feed this division. And I'm going to choose these other things. I'm going to choose love instead. I'm going to choose unity instead. I'm going to choose these higher vibrational feelings. And that all of a sudden, as we know, our inner world creates our outer world. Our innermost thoughts create our reality. So whatever we are focusing on, we can either choose to focus on positive things that uplift us and show us the beauty and the magic in the world, or the negative things that put us into states of suffering and to the lower vibrations. It is our choice. Uh, just a little background. We have done, this is our fifth session of this now. We have done some multiple healings with results each time. We've started grander scale, which I kind of like at healing the earth. We started with the earth. We started in infusing this purple energy and harvesting it and sharing it with nature when we're out and about and sharing it with the plants and just creating this radiant ambient energy of purple in our neighborhoods or wherever we go. And then we kind of moved into, well, now we've extended to the continent. We've gotten to the mycelium network. We've expanded it out. Uh, Now we're hitting water, so we started infusing the water, and we changed the water so we get further. And we also thought about, well, water is feeding the crops. It's some part of our fuel. We're 85% water or something like that. So infusing the water was the next logical step. Then we started getting to the sky with the clouds and using that. We helped to dissipate the storm that was just the massive meteoric, I forget, the atmospheric river storm that they had in the Pacific Northwest. And we used the overabundance there and we chose to bring it to a place on the East Coast, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, these places that they're experiencing droughts right now, that they need rain and they're lack. So we use this energy, we use this power of eight, we use these focused meditations to take the excess and drain that excess and then use that to fuel and bring uh, the areas of lack, we're kind of migrating it. And we're using clouds, we use the mycelium network through the things, but it all kind of entailed this purple energy. Purple also relates to uh, unity energy. You have everywhere in the world, not just in America, there's polarities of blue and red. Blue and red is always a polarities. It's the divisive thing. There's a blue and a red. Well, when you combine blue and red, what do you get? You get purple. You get that unified energy. It's also associated with heart. It's also, love vibrations. It's associated with what's called violet flame, which is a very ancient technique and healing technique that can be utilized, and people have been leveraging it for years, and it's associated to the higher chakras or higher consciousness. Your third eye and your crown chakras both are associated with that purple color. So, and then as you start noticing purple, you realize it is there's so many hues of purple. Purple entails violets and fuchsias and all these different things, and there's just so many different depths and layers and complexities. But anyway, so that's a little background. I like to just kind of start off with that just to give it in. And I am going to try to stop talking now because I will talk all night if you guys let me. But I want to open this up to other people, anybody that got to practice or participate in the homework last week. Maybe, Deborah, if you want to share kind of your experience since you were the focus a little bit of last week, if you feel comfortable.
Sure, I can do that. Obviously, last week was my first week. I was new to the group, and um, most of you had heard the story about my grandson through this week and the five surgeries he's been in eight. Well, he's in surgery right now, his fifth one, and um, holding the right place. It's just a war. It's a war in your mind. It's a war between fear and just belief and knowing that he's going to be okay. And so it gave me a lot of chance this week to just, because there were several times, even today, where I would just get overwhelmed with fear and emotion and panic. And I found that I could stop and I could just close my eyes and focus on the infinity symbol and the purple and just get into that rhythm of meditating on the infinity symbol. I see it as the scalar wave symbol, and just hold him in that place and be like, no, it's okay. It's all right. Without denying my emotions, but rather acknowledging them and saying, I acknowledge the fear. I acknowledge the panic, but I will not, that's not where I choose to live. And when I could stop and just kind of focus on that infinity and the purple and just I kept I don't know how many times this week I picked up the I brought up on my tablet the picture of the purple hurricane from last week, the storm, and just looked at that and reminded myself that you know I might be in the eye of the storm right now, but that doesn't mean I have to be overcome by the storm. So that's what it was for me this week. I
That
was
was
still amazed by the timing of meeting you guys a week, an hour before the Zoom call last week.
that was a beautiful share. I appreciate you showing the power of that and how reframing how you look at things changes the whole perspective, changes how you're reacting. Now it starts changing your world.
Yeah.
And I do want to give a nice little point of a little thing of if you've heard, Devorah said she only found out about this group 1 hour before last week's session. It just happened, and it happened that she needed it, this healing. So I felt almost that this purple energy, whatever this energy, this chi, this universal energy, almost brought her to it. She that knew what she needed, it knew she needed. So, and I asked many weeks ago, I asked this purple energy. I asked in one of my meditations, I said, guide me to the people that need this. Guide
Yeah.
me. I utilize the purple to guide me to where I need to go, what I need to see, and who I need to speak with, and it hasn't let me down. And so, our focus last week was about the storm originally. And I think, Devorah, you were one of the ones that mentioned how you wanted the storm. And I think it was Leah as well, because you both are living in that area.
Mm.
And how that morphed. And I always ask the purple energy, I always ask the energy before I start the sessions, guide me to what the focus is going to be today. Show me the focus. And it morphed into all of a sudden Devore coming on and saying, "Hey, I have this extremely tragic situation with my grandson." And it was definitely something we all resonated with, and we all rose up to the call and were able to provide, I feel, some comfort to Devora and her family a little bit amidst the chaos and a little bit of calm.
Absolutely. And what was amazing, not just that I found out about the Zoom call, literally, I didn't even know you guys existed until an hour before that Zoom call last Wednesday, which was just a couple hours after my grandson went into the first of these 5 surgeries. And so it was, I mean, the whole timing and synchronicity of it was just astonishing to me how ordained it was.
That was beautiful. And I do want to add another amazing coincidence that happened during the session related to the storm. And I think within minutes of us starting our focus intention of bringing and dissipating the power of the storm on the west and bringing it to the east, the radar changed on the East Coast at 8:30 is like exact like minutes afterward, and it went completely like purple. Like all the dots and everything went purple. And Luciana, one of the participants here, shared that with us and brought that up. And I thought, okay, that once again, I don't believe in coincidences, and these things are just there's no other way to explain this stuff. And the less I try to explain it and just accept it and allow it to be and get out of its way, the better and stronger and more amazing it becomes. And I don't know if anybody else wants to kind of chime in, share a little bit of their experiences so far with this energy, with this power of infinity, or with the homework for the last week. Okay, cool. Um, so let's get into kind of the focus like for this week. Um, I kind of like I said, not really thinking about it, just letting guide. And I think continuing on with harvesting this energy within us and the thought of our innermost thoughts create our outer reality and creating balance within that. Balance, the infinity symbol brings balance and harvesting that energy because once we learn to harvest and manifest this energy that's all around us and utilize it, then we can start sharing it with others. And then it starts to amplify, it starts to spread, it starts to expand. And now, we have eight, five of us, six of us in here right now. Now each of us share this with one person. Well, there's 12 people, and then each of those people share it with one person. Well, now you got 24, and it just expands and compounds. And I know we've had discussions about this in some of our other groups of different things and how energy and how things expand and take off. And in my mind, this is how we change the world. We don't do it in isolation. We don't do it in segregation. We don't do it in division, but we share this. This is, and I've said this from the start, this energy is not me. I've just been asked to host these sessions, and I was honored to receive that ask. Where this is not my energy, this is every one of our energies. Every single one of you on this call, every one person listening to this right now has this energy within them because it's the energy that connects us all. It's the thread that connects us all. And when we start to realize the power in that and how much it can influence and affect everything we do, then we change the game. We change everything, and everything becomes love, unity, and you start becoming solution based. You start thinking of ways out of things. You start realizing, oh, that annoying coworker that drove me crazy all day. I look at them with compassion now. I kind of understand or try to question, why is that person annoying? I reframe how I interact with the world. So then the world reframes how it interacts with me. So, uh, want to leave that. I don't, once again, I am not the catch-all that ends all. This is all about all of us. So I would like to leave that up to the group if they feel or if they would like to add on to that, or if they have a specific focus that they would like to nominate.
I'll add on to it. You asked earlier about experiences. I have spent a lot more time in this past week reflecting on, basically just to the best of my ability being in the present. And when I catch myself wandering off into a story of, this person or situation is annoying to me. Okay, what's inside of me that's annoyed right now? This is a feeling that I don't want to feel, and I need to just feel it and then let it go so it can flow through. Um, and I've had quite a few opportunities to do that. And of course, in the moment, they don't necessarily feel like opportunities. um, but it's been very fruitful uh, for me personally, to be able to continue to grow in that way and let those things go. Um, it and then I when was it, a week or so ago, I started doing the I got some type of download, whatever you want to call that, related to crystal communication in the body, which is what the free event I've got going on. And this is not meant to be a plug, but as I um, have dove more into that, I recognize how it relates to what we're doing and the flow and the zero resistance. And just like the more I look into it and create this presentation, the more I'm like, wow, okay. And I know that's not coming from me either. Like I posted something on the circle group that some of us are in, and uh Nagendra was like, oh, I didn't know you were into crystals. I said, yeah, me neither. So, like all of a sudden, just all of this information. And it started with the power of eight stuff, because a few weeks ago or whenever it was, when we were doing the grounding uh meditation to get us started with the tree root thing, at some point I suddenly realized that at the start of, like, when my tree roots would get to the center of the earth, instead of before, when I had done that type of meditation, it was like a flame or something in there, and all of a sudden it was just this white crystal. And I was like, well, that's interesting, and that's what started, and then it just blew up from there. So that's been my experience recently. I've had some others, but I thought that would be a good thing to share for this week. Um, I don't have anything to add as far as a particular focus. Um, yeah, no, nothing comes to mind.
Thank you for sharing. And with this energy, there are no plugs. So don't worry about saying it with a plug because you're just sharing your energy and sharing your passion. And that excites me. And I love seeing that. I will never judge somebody for sharing their passion. And the more we can be that way as humans and encourage people, the more people are going to rise up into their power and be accepting of themselves and love themselves. And that's when love starts to radiate out because you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself first. You won't know how. Yet you just won't know. So thank you, Kim. Okay, so if nobody else has anything, I think we can go into the focus. For those new, what we kind of do is we put on a background of the some shamanic didgeridoo and drumming, which creates this kind of like rhythmic, trance-like flow to help us really get into that state and that flow state. Then we put up a focused intention on the screen. I'll share out my screen and that, and it's kind of just a focused intention to kind of help us to focus that energy, to give us a focus to do that. When you are focusing on healing someone, that focus picture should be that person or something that associates you to that person to help facilitate the healing. With us today, with the focus being us harnessing that energy within us and accepting that energy and sharing that energy, the focus picture you'll see in a minute is going to kind of incorporate that. I think this is a really beautiful time for any of us in the States that are celebrating the Thanksgiving and the family and the holidays and all that's coming up. There's a lot of family time, which can be very stressful for people if you look at it that way, if you look at it that wrong way. But if you imagine if you went into a situation that you used to be stressful with this power, with this infinite power within you that you knew cannot be depleted because now it's an infinite power and you're tying it into a network of people that are generating this infinite power. How much more empowered would you feel and comfortable you'd be able to walk into these situations knowing you can be a duck and allow the water, everything just roll off the back, the water off the back, because nothing's going to get to you. And you're going to start to appreciate everything a little bit more, and you're just going to be able to laugh things off. And that is what I want. If nothing else comes of these things, this is what I want to be able to share with people, is that feeling that this generates within. Because if everyone starts feeling that way, once again, that's how you change the world. When you're loving yourself, when you're loving within, when your inner world is creating unity and harmony, that is what the outer world becomes. And you have if you have multiple people start doing that, it becomes infectious in a way and it grows and it spreads and it's incredible. And so I definitely am excited to share this with you all and uh, allow you or remind you, not allow you because it's nothing I'm doing, remind you you have the ability to do this. And that is what we do with these folks' intentions. And the great thing is it is for 8 minutes. We set a timer, 8 minutes with this shamanic didgeridoo to create this translate state. You know that there's a timer, so you can just completely release. And it's only 8 minutes. You're not going to get lost. You're not going to get lost in your thoughts. You're not going to get lost in your head. You're not lost in the abyss or the void. You're not going to be going away. You can completely and fully release because you know there's going to be a timer and it's only 8 minutes. And believe me, everybody that's participated in this, 8 minutes goes crazy fast. You will be surprised at how fast. 8 minutes at a lot of times may seem like a long time, or when you're doing something you don't like, it doesn't. But when we're doing this, almost everybody says, "Wow, I did not that timer just came really quick." So, that's kind of where we're at. Is there any questions before I share out the screen and we get into this? Cool, cool. And make sure I search sound. And you guys should see Facebook. This is the shamanic didgeridoo. And then here is the picture that I found that I felt was very appropriate for this focus and this intention. We are creating exactly this within us. We are harnessing and harvesting this energy. We're not creating it, we're harvesting it and allowing it to be. So you guys see this? I'm going to start the music. Can we hear the music? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So allow the music to just take you away and just drift off into that peaceful space, that void where you don't have to worry about anything. Focus on harnessing this energy. If you need a guide, you can open your eyes and look at that focus intent picture.
The
But just
picture is gone, Brian.
I'll bring it back up. But thank you.
Uh-huh.
So bring that and just bring that energy with you. Just focus on harnessing this energy and then sharing it. Actually, just focus on harnessing and harvesting it right now. We'll work on sharing after. So here we go. I am going to hit the timer. Enjoy. Wow, wow, wee woo. Does always get me. It's just very, very powerful. Very powerful. Ah, for me, I envision as first it was just creating, and it was that infinity symbol within me, and it just was generating this infinite loop of purple energy. And then it's interesting because this seems to be a theme, and I don't know if it's the music, but there's this all of a sudden it goes out to a circle, and we have this, we're all in circle. So everybody that's participating, everyone that's here today, we're sitting in the circle and we're all generating our own energy within. We all got this infinite power energy, this loop, this infinite circle within us. And then as we were sitting there and sharing and in the circle, we started connecting each other, and those infinity loops came out and connected to other infinity loops and connected to each other, and it was just this mesh network. And then it all kind of started funneling into the middle of us and just started cycloning up and spinning up and shot up and just spread out like this wave all over around and started encompassing the entire planet. And as I was doing this, I saw arcane and alchemical symbols within the energy flowing outwards. And then it kind of expanded out, and we were no longer in the sessions. We were in our individual spaces, or we weren't in the circle. We were in our individual spaces, but still connected by this mesh network and this thread. And then we were sitting there, and we were still creating this infinite energy within, and it started radiating out from us. And then others kind of in our area started noticing us and started kind of sitting down and like, what's going on? And they started sitting down and they started harvesting their own and connecting into this power of energy. And each one fed further into the energy and it just kept charging it and empowering it and fueling it. And then it just started seeing across the world people. One time, one was a child. He was kind of sitting on the street, and he was very desolate. He was homeless, and a stranger came by and offered him some food and some warmth and comfort and a place to stay. And then another one was a woman who was subjected and feeling unworthy, and someone coming by and saying a kind word to her that picked her back up. And it was just these little changes that started happening all over the planet, and people started showing compassion and uh, true care for their fellow humans. And it felt really incredible. And then that chime came in and shook me out. And here we are explaining our experiences to everybody. So I want to give some time to everyone else if anyone feels called to share. Cool.
Well, first I apologize because tonight I'm really tired. Actually, I wasn't feeling that tired just before connecting. I don't know if it's a very relaxing energy that goes around when we meet, because then as soon as the Zoom started, I started really going into a very relaxed place. The meditation, there are a few things in common with what you mentioned, Brian. The first thing that I perceived was hunger, world hunger, and then world anger. The symbol, I don't know why, I was very connected to manifestation, reiterating how much there is work to be done within each of us, within ourselves. Um, Also, I've seen it a lot with the planet. And I kept seeing a lot of purple in different nuances. This is my experience.
Thank you, Luciana. I Interesting. I kind of want to ask because you kind of said you saw world hunger, then it went to world anger. Was it
Oh,
the anger kind of stemming up because of the hunger and that focus, and then it's like, oh, this is angst, or was it the anger within the world and the division?
no, no, it had more to do with all what is going on in the world. every everything that's going on. It's strange because the first the first image that I saw was like another me entering into a room and moving things, literally creating them, manifesting them. Um, then started with the planet, very much with the planet, the symbol. And then that's when I haven't seen, I felt hunger. And the anger, again, is more related, not for the hunger, is more related to all what is going on right now, everywhere. I mean, just, I don't even watch the news, but sometimes you just come through the phone. And for example, there is a lot of violence from parents towards kids. That's something. I'm not even entering into the politics of what is going on, but that's what I felt. Yes.
So,
What I mean is that the hurt, there are patches of hurt that really suffer. That's what I meant.
I feel you have perfectly exemplified the situation. As you focused, or when those feelings came in, it started to alter a little bit. It started to affect you. It started becoming heavier for you. Uh, and you, when we focus on, and like you said, the news blasts us in our face. There's purposes for that. It's blasting us in our
Yeah.
face to keep us into that state because we're not accessing our true selves and our true power. And then we're believing, and a lot of times it's a story that we see. And unfortunately, in today's world, those stories aren't always accurate or true. So you get this story, and all of a sudden you're reacting to it and you're angry, and I can't
Mm.
believe this is happening. But it's never actually happened. And all it did now was created suffering within. Now, I'm not saying that happened to you, Luciana, but in the world in general, that is kind of how it works. That is how
Well, that
that's
is
how
why,
suffering becomes.
yeah, well, that is why I don't watch the news. I mean, I don't even have the TV mounted, so I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news in eons. So there's some they still come true, if not through me, through others. Um, but I mean, it wasn't while all this was happening, I wasn't feeling particularly bad. It's the opposite. Like I felt how much we need to keep doing this work with the violet flame, with the purple flame, with the purple energy. That's
And
yes.
one thing I'd like to add is, and it's a very controversial caveat here, but the reality is when we focus on those things, and say we focus on hunger, or we focus on these abuse, or we focus on those things, we are just introducing the suffering within us. And now we are creating hurt within us, but we're not actually changing anything. So what does focusing on those things do? It creates suffering within only. So you focus on the opposite. You focus on the healing. You focus on love. You focus
Yeah.
on the positive things. You focus on what you want to see in the world.
And that's why in the during the meditation there was this, I wouldn't even know how to connect it, but I felt like um it was related to manifestation very much. It is as if in front of me I felt in so many things at once.
Accepting all emotions is a powerful thing, but not latching onto them. Realizing that those emotions are there, and
Yeah.
what is this emotion here to teach me? Sit down with the emotion, pour it some tea, listen to it, let it spill itself to you, and appreciate it, and then let it move on. Hug it and say, "Hey, I acknowledge you, I see you, but I'm not
And
going to
it,
let you affect me." Hmm. Good stuff. Powerful. Is there anybody else that feels compelled to share their experience? Once again, this is not a spotlight. I'm not trying to call anybody out here.
Yes. Of course, I'm feeling a bit tired because it's like 10 to 2 for me in the morning. And of course,
That's
I'm trying to be quiet, not to disturb the rest of the house. But yeah, the meditation was quite nice. Uh, I it took me a little while to settle in tonight or this morning. Um, I didn't go quite so quickly. Uh, it took me a little while before but yes, we were all round the fire, but I was in like a canyon, and we were all sat round the fire meditating, and the next thing I know, I was in this field and I was planting seeds. And I remember feeling as I was planting them, I felt the joy of planting the seeds for new life and new beginnings. And as I was planting them, as it was a massive field, and I was there by myself, and I was planting these seeds, and it was like day after day. But as I got to the end of one row, these violet flowers popped up, and it was like they were smiling at me. So it was like to say, you know, this you've chosen to do this, and we are grateful that you're doing this. And I don't know what the symbolism of violet flowers is, but I felt great joy. It was as though the flowers could nurture our souls. That we didn't need food, we didn't need water, we just needed these flowers. And it was beautiful, really. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that. I love the vision of the seeds because in the past, and a couple ones, we that was one of the focuses, infusing the food and healing our farmlands. It was interesting because after we did that one, I had posted the replay and someone commented on it that that's exactly, how we infuse this purple energy to make the plants and the food, and then it's so strong that they don't need pesticides, that they don't need GMOs, they don't need things to make them grow because they're so healthy without it, that those things actually are counterproductive to them and harm them and lower the yield. So we focused on that and making it to where the crops outperform the farms that are using this stuff. So those farms now essentially go out of business because they're not producing the thing. So your vision kind of tied back to that of planting, infusing those things of love, planting those seeds of love, planting them and watching them grow.
I have to tell you, I haven't watched any of your replays.
That just shows even more the power of this because this is a vision and these happen very often within these groups is we start sharing our experiences and there's so many similarities between what we've experienced. We have completely different people doing completely different things with completely different influences within their life that are seeing or experiencing or getting some of that same thing. Yes, Luciana?
Yeah.
Maggie, the sentence that you said, can you repeat it? You chose this?
In my
Because,
vision, I had chosen to plant the seeds.
okay.
That
Say,
was like my journey. I had chosen to do this all by myself because I had no help. I was toiling to do this by myself.
now, when you said this sentence, I mean, this meditation to me has been very strange. It had like several layers because when she said the sentence, she reminded me with having felt the sentence during this meditation. Um, yeah, I cannot put it better than that.
I don't
But
really
it
know what sentence you're referring to. um, yeah, no,
You chose this. It's like
yes,
it
yes.
echoed in me.
Oh
When you
well, this
said it,
it's a bit like a life path. I chose to do
yes,
this in
yes,
this in this timeline.
that's what I mean. What I mean is that when you said it, it reminded me with having not heard it, but having felt the vibration of it during the meditation.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Oh
what I mean.
yes, thank you. That's lovely. Thank you.
Mm. Love that. Love, love, love. Anybody else feel compelled to share anything?
Yeah, I'd like to share what I saw. So I saw, I was inside of like a cave, and the cave had a big circular entrance to it. And I realized that the whole cave, the whole inside of the cave was um, some kind of purple crystals and like maybe amethyst, I'm not sure, but beautiful purple crystals. And then when I got closer to the entrance, coming out of the cave, if you will, I noticed that, there were these spiky things where the crystals were kind of sticking out and everything at the entrance to the cave. And when I looked, I realized they were us. And it was just really powerful to realize that that power of that purple crystal fire was us. It was in us. And we just kind of stood there in a circle at this circle that was the entrance to the cave became like a circle of us. And we were just, and all we could see, we couldn't see like, we didn't look out of the cave and see like the world or, you know, land or anything like that. All we could see was the cosmos. We could see the dark sky and a gazillions and gazillions of these little white twinkly stars. And we stood there and we just projected our purple healing energy out, and all the stars turned purple. It was just, it was a healing of the cosmos. It wasn't just, it was more than just here. It was so big.
I forgot to say I left that bit out because when we were around the circle, I we were receiving the energy through the crown chakra into the heart chakra, and we were beaming that out. And I remember looking up the stars in the sky. So a very very similar journey to yours. That was I forgot I missed that bit out. I tend not to remember where I've been sometimes when I go on a journey. I don't always remember the whole thing, and yeah. So yes, I can relate to that as well. Thank you, thank you.
I love the larger scale, the cosmos. That was something that I believe Luciana mentioned last week is that let's start focusing larger scale. Let's get this global impact. And I kind of had that in my vision when it started encompassing the earth, and I started seeing people from all walks of life in different areas and their interactions and what kind of things could make them feel this energy so they could at least feel the spark within them because that spark, at least with a spark, it gives some hope and at least it gives them something to latch on to. And it's like, oh, I don't know what this is, but I have this little bit of good inside. I feel this good inside of me. And the more they focus on it, the more it can grow. And the more that they're shown to focus on it, and it's okay to focus on them, then the better it can become, and the more fluent they can become in it, and the more they can wield it for benefits, not only to them, but to humanity. Because as we've learned in these power of these sessions, is through the healing of others, we also just naturally heal ourselves because we are now getting out of the way of and allowing the healing energy to do what it needs to do. And the healing energy knows exactly where it needs to go. So we're focusing it and we're getting out of the way. We're getting ego aside. It's not about us. It's not about us. But the energy is like, well, yeah, but there's parts of you that need to heal too. So I'm going to go ahead and heal that since the energy's here anyway, since it's already flowing through you. And you start healing yourself because you're doing something bigger than you. You are no longer, it's no longer about you. It's about the collective. It's about humanity. It's about existence. And it's about this underlying universal thread of energy that connects every soul in existence. It's been proven time and time again, and at this point, with my experiences, for me, it would be naive to deny it at this point. It would be silly for me to deny it, and I would be just going against myself. And I stopped. And since I've stopped doing that, it expands every moment of my life and grows, and it's catching other people with all of you in this group. I think have had some similar experiences or have seen it or experienced or shared in the joy of this. And I'm just so grateful that there's people willing to do this, that there's people willing to check back in, that there's people willing to reconnect to something bigger than themselves and realize that there's more to the world than themselves. And when we do that, the universe rewards us. We don't have to go search our rewards. They become natural because we're allowing that energy to exist and flow unrestricted, getting out of its way. We're not trying to dictate it because it's going to know the best way to go. It's going to be like, you're going to be like, oh, I want you to go this way. And it's like, well, you're going to get 10 times the rewards, 100 times faster if I take you this way. No, I'm stubborn. We're going to go this way. Then you go through all the trials and tribulations and you're picking yourself up off the ground. You're like, God damn, that sucked. And it's like, well, if you would have listened to me the first time, we could have just taken the shortcut right here I was trying to show you. But then again, sometimes some of those things are what we need to learn as well. Sometimes maybe those are the unresolved issues, and it's the energy pointing out those issues so they can then be healed and released. So that's one thing to look at this week, or look at as you start harnessing and playing with this energy. What comes up? Because that's the energy pointing out to you what needs to be addressed, what needs to be healed. And when you start doing that, you start getting the answers from outside, from this energy that knows more than we do. It's just inherent within it. That's all it does. It's all it knows. It's not biased. It's not corrupted. It's not influenced by anything. It just is, and it's unconditional, pure love, which cannot be tainted.
Beautiful words.
So I do, we're getting kind of close on time. I just want to give, if anybody does feel engaged to share, kind of one last call before we kind of wrap things up and go into the homework and kind of the focus for the week. Okay.
I have something to share that I'm hesitant to share.
That
Um,
means it's gonna be good.
nah, it means I'm not sure if it's coming from me or from a higher place. Um, the last, uh, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Um, that I did for meditating with Arlo in mind. Um, I heard that he was going to come to his mom in a dream and tell her that he's okay. Take that however you want to take that. It kept popping into my head this evening, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to say it and it'll go wherever it goes. So there you go.
Thank you for bringing that up. I would like to touch on that because Arlo was the part of the focus that kind of grew, and that's Devorah's grandson. We had some tragic events that we were working to heal and multiple surgeries. And a couple of us kind of felt that same thing that Arlo has come to a couple of us now and said, he's going to be okay. Heal my family. and
That's
that
what I
just is
was getting
powerful.
to. His mom in particular, that this, yeah.
And once again, so that once again comes back to that feeling of love. So they're so focused on Arlo and the trials and tribulations he's going through. It's bringing anguish, it's bringing suffering into their life. But if they focus on their love and they focus on what feels good and they just allow that to emit, everything's going to turn out all right. And it's going to be better than they could ever expect. And it's going to reward them in ways that they could not imagine because they got out of the way of it and allowed it to just flow. Hmm. I'm glad you shared that. See, I told you it'd be good, Kim. Always. I love it.
That was awesome.
So that kind of brings up side quests or different little things, and I still want to focus for the next week for everyone to really just start getting comfortable with this energy, start playing with this, start experiencing it, start allowing it to just grow within you, get out of its way, and allow it to start emitting out to others and see where it goes, see what comes up, see where it goes, see who else needs healing, who else needs healing through you, who else needs to be introduced to this energy through you, because the energy will start speaking to you the more you play with it and the more you allow it to. So the more we just harness and just focus on that and just allow that to be, allow when I don't I think it was Luciano, somebody was talking about how, or was it Kim? They're letting these things they're no anyway, it doesn't matter. How they're breathing through it. These things that they're coming through. Actually, I believe it was Devora. Devora, you said that they started becoming overwhelming with Arlo and the things that are going on, and you stopped and you focus on the purple energy. You focus on the infinity symbol within you, and you let that peace take over, and it changed your mood, it changed your feeling, it changed the energy around you, and it shifted your world into that positive, flowing state.
I really hope some of you guys can make it to that um, thing on Saturday, because I just keep having thoughts pop in as you're talking about these things and how it relates.
I'm looking forward to it.
I will definitely be there.
What's going on Saturday?
I created a free webinar event. I don't remember the title. I ended up finally giving it, uncovering the crystal communication within your
Oh
body.
yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
really long title and decided, well, Facebook's not even gonna let me fit all that in there. So,
I have it on
um,
my schedule. I have it. I know what you're talking about
awesome.
now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
going to be a replay?
Yes. Whoever is here that comes, please remind me to record it, because I have a bad habit of forgetting to do
Right,
that.
because
But
I
yeah, I'd
won't
be glad to share it. You're in the field, right, Maggie?
I won't be able to attend live, so
Yeah,
a
that's fine.
replay would be lovely.
Yeah, for
If
sure. Are you in the field group?
I
She is a
think
member of
so.
that. Yeah, she's a member of the
Okay.
field.
I'll post it in there
Thank you.
when it's done. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
that kind of brings up an interesting point that I was thinking about is not everybody that is participating, because I've been sharing this now outside of the field, is a member of the field. But we do have a chat group within the field that is kind of isolated to that. And I know there's some people that don't want to join more groups, or so I am looking to probably create a chat group outside of the field a little bit. So you don't have to be a member of the field to be able to participate in this, because I don't want to limit it to anybody. And I don't want to have to ask somebody, oh, I want you to join another group to track. And because some people are going to be like, well, I'm already turned off. And I don't want to have any uh, blockages for anyone to have access to this. So I'm trying to make sure it's available in everywhere. The replays from here too, I'm going to be now sharing or posting to my YouTube channel and then sharing the YouTube link, just so there's one single location for all the replays. All the replays will be there. If you want to watch from week one to week five, they will all be there. And it just allows people outside of Facebook. Maybe there's people that aren't Facebook that want to be able to participate. It just starts getting that energy and does not limit because that's what the focus is, to allow this to flow unrestricted, correct? So I did a screenshot. I think actually everybody on is a member of the field. But once again, I'm still looking to expand that out, and I think I'll create that chat group and just start adding people to a chat group that is outside of that, and that way it doesn't place that restriction or that feeling of needing to be part of this group to participate. Because when we limit it, then we're putting restrictions on the energy, and the energy is going to stop, and then it's going to block it, and then it's going to build up and cause blockages and stagnation and issues, and then we're going to wonder why nothing's flowing for us because we
Yeah.
put a dam up. And now the dam, I think we talked about this in one of our first ones. When you block a water, the water is going to keep going. If you put a dam up, the water doesn't care. The energy doesn't care. It's just going to build up, build up, build up, build up until it overflows and causes disaster within the world. So let's not block the energy. Let's allow it to flow because when we don't block it, it flows to exactly where it needs to go. It will
That's
find a
true of
way.
the body as well, what you're
Yes,
saying.
100%. 100%. It ties into all of it. So,
Kim, I have to tell you, when you first posted about that meeting on Saturday, I was so excited. And then I remembered that I have a meeting every Saturday that I do with a group that I've done for quite a while now, and it's at the same time. And I was so bummed. I was just like, oh no, I really want to be on this thing of Kim's. And so I just thought, you know what? I don't know. I'm just going to put it out there in the universe and see what's supposed to be is supposed to be. And literally, those words were not out of my head when my friend sent me a text message and said, we're not going to do our call on Saturday because of the holidays. And I just cracked up. I was like, ah, I'm going to be with Kim. That's where
We
I'm
like
supposed
to
to
do.
be. So I'm excited.
I'm excited to
mm,
hear that because yeah, I question myself sometimes, but I'm like, you know what? I'm learning so much. It's a
Yep.
shame not to share it. So
Yeah.
whoever shows and whatever they get out of it, cool. But I'm like, it anchors it for me, like what you were saying about the healing. Like as we're sharing it with others, we're helping ourselves at the same time, and that's how I feel about this. Like I don't know where this is gonna go, and maybe it'll be a one-off, and that's okay too. But I like this stuff is just like, wow, okay, gotta share it. So yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
yes, thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring, right? As long as we're sharing positive things. I don't want your guys' dharma and your karma. You can keep that. Awesome. Well, it sounds like this is probably a good place to kind of wrap it up. Let Maggie get back to bed there and get some rest in, and everybody else kind of enjoy and finish their prepping or whatever they got to do for the night. I thank you all for joining, especially the new people. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as all of us have been participating have. And I look forward to hearing how it all unfolds for you guys this week. And then I will have once the recording processes, I'll have it up to the YouTube channel, and then I'll share that to all the different groups and different areas and make sure everybody gets an access to that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all again.
Thanks. Have a good
All right.
holiday, everybody.
You too. Take
Good
care.
Thanks.
holiday. Bye bye.